American Riviera Orchard is in another mark of trademark hell, as the brand continues to struggle to even get off the ground. And as time goes on, this gets more and more perilous for Meghan Markle and her ability to make money with Prince Harry, because they are essentially putting all their eggs in one basket. The only thing they have going for them that could potentially, you could say, make a decent amount of change, perhaps, is American Riviera Orchard, the one thing they can't get going. And the latest trademark challenge is from a pretty big potential competitor for them, which is Harry and David, which says they have something called Royal Riviera pears, and they have trademark Royal Riviera, and they believe that Meghan Markle's brand name will potentially be confusing to consumers. And I don't think they're necessarily wrong in that assertion. And this is just another example of what a horrible businesswoman Meghan Markle is. She claims to be an entrepreneur. She claims to be wanting to essentially be the breadwinner for her and Harry. And yet, her big launch, her big first step could not be a more epic train wreck at this point. We're going on what, 8 or 9 months now post the launch of American Riviera Orchard, actually 8 months this month, because it'll be 9 in December. And as she gets to March 2025 and still hasn't launched the brand, Meghan Markle is sunk. She needs product. She needs capital. She needs so many different things. And yet, she's still continuing to fail upwards miserably. And this is sort of an unforgivable sin, I think, to many business people. So we will go ahead and get into this because it's so important, I think, and I hope other people can learn from Meghan Markle's horrifically bad and avoidable mistakes. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, hello, my name is Brittany, and I provide a compelling royal commentary. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button, I'd absolutely love to have you back. We have an amazing channel here going over so many royal things. And yes, I know tomorrow is the election in the United States. And I'm sure many corners of the world are like, we don't care at all. But it'll obviously be dominating the news. But we will have a Crown Report tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. And there is so much to talk about, especially with the somewhat hostile and yet at the same time very loving reaction that King Felipe and Queen Letizia got in Valencia, which shows how true royals can act in the face of adversity. We also have Prince William in South Africa for the Earthshot Prize. Catherine did not attend with him as far as we're aware. We have the case of the Duchy of Cornwall and Lancaster. We also have Prince Andrew once again being told that he really needs to downsize, and they're definitely downsizing his budget because unfortunately he is no longer working royal and he's no longer really any benefit to the household. So what can he do, and why are there so many problems with Spirit? We will go into that on the Crown Report. It is a live program where I just share different royal stories from around Europe mostly, and sometimes we venture out of those borders as well. So if you guys want to hit the subscribe button and be aware of the upcoming live stream for the Crown Report, that would be absolutely awesome because it'd be lovely to have you attend in person, and maybe it gives you a bit of a break from all the endless political coverage. All right, guys. So I could say, I think a pretty good and apt declaration for American Riviera Orchard, and I have a great prop as well. It's rotten. It really, really is rotten. So these have actually been sitting in my office for a bit. I really actually need to just throw them out and move on. But I just thought, oh man, rotten lemons, because Meghan Markle has a rotten brand, and that is American Riviera Orchard. Now, it could be a great and smashing success at one point, 150%. But it's just increasingly looking like that will never happen. And I want to address something I see in the comments a lot, which is that Meghan Markle never intended to do anything with this brand. She just wanted to gather emails and sell them. I actually personally don't believe that in the slightest. She 100% wants to sell this brand. And I can't totally blame her. Lifestyle brands do fairly well, although I think they are a trend on the decline. But I think definitely she wanted this to be successful. And one story I found really interesting is one from Richard Eden. And this is, I think, something that came up weeks ago, and I don't think I ever got a chance to get around to this. So this will encompass maybe some stuff that's a little older. But this article from Richard Eden talking about how he may have ruined the launch of American Riviera Orchard. And so this is going over all the mistakes, obviously, Harry and Meghan have made. I've done a bit of a series on that. And he shares in his list of mistakes, obviously, American Riviera Orchard for Meghan Markle. And he shares that he actually had the tip for it. And that is partially why she launched the brand early. So it says, everyone knows that Harry and Meghan despise the popular press, but that hatred can lead them to make foolish decisions. 100% it can. I contacted Meghan's office in March to inform them that I plan to run an item about her plans to launch a lifestyle brand company called American Riviera Orchard. Meghan was apparently so desperate for the news not to appear first in the Daily Mail, which I believe, that she immediately launched the Instagram page for her company, complete with a glitzy video that looked hastily shot. It wasn't in focus, probably because she wasn't even wearing makeup, I would guess. 8 months later, the company still has not started selling any goods, and interest seems to be waning. A textbook example of how not to launch a business. And I believe they actually did change a bit of it, because if you go back into the original article, it said it launched in April, and people actually forget when it launched and give it a more recent launch date because it's been so long. They forgot when she initially announced it. Now, I 100% believe this story. And the reason I do is because Meghan Markle has done this endlessly, that she freaks out when somebody gets news that she's not ready to share. And she doesn't do the right thing, you could say, or the normal thing, or the proper business thing. She is a terrible, horrible businesswoman. I actually did a long thread on this on Twitter, so I'll try to remember it. But there's sort of three options that she had. The first is to completely ignore the story and just let him run it. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Now, she can still launch the company later. She could have even changed the name at some point, because if it's still in the development stage, there's no reason to actually launch the name yet. And so they could just ignore it and it would peter out, and nobody would care. The other option is to confirm this as, yes, we are working on this lifestyle brand. It is in the very early development stages. And so we will have more information to you at some point in the future. That's 100% what you can do. There was actually an interesting thing that I saw recently for Lisa Eldridge. She is actually one of my favorite sort of makeup artists. I purchased her products. I really like them. You can buy them through her website or on Selfridges, which is a British sort of like mall type of store. But I like her stuff. I think it's interesting. I used to watch her when she would do the Chanel makeup tutorials on the new collections there, like eons ago. So she's launched her own makeup, and she is a professional makeup artist. She's done very, very famous people. She's had Victoria Beckham and Kate Winslet and stuff that she has worked with. And one of the things she said is, as she was launching a new line of reusable lipsticks, so you can essentially reuse the original case, and everything is recyclable, and all those sorts of things. And one of the things she said is, I have all these colors. I have this one other color here, but we ran into a snafu somewhere in the manufacturing process. Ergo, I'm showing you all of these because, hey, I'm an actual real makeup artist that people use at Fashion Week. Like companies and brands and designers and celebrities use her. And so she's like, I have a really packed schedule, so I have to film this. Maybe she even filmed it 1 or 2 months ago. And she's like, I'm going to put it now because we can launch now with pretty much everything except for this one outlying product. I'm so sorry. Let us just go ahead and move forward. Otherwise, I'm just going to be hanging on to it. It's just going to be sitting in warehouses. I mean, it might actually end up having issues if she sits on it for too long. And that's a perfectly legitimate approach, especially because she's been at this a while now. Now, if this was her first product, I maybe wouldn't have done that, but she's had a long track record of good launches. I've bought a lot of her stuff. So she has this track record she has built up over time. So when she says, I've worked on something for so long, we just hit a little bit of a snafu, I don't want to hold this any longer. Let's just go with what we have, and then we can obviously make the rest up later. Totally fine. People understand that, because that is sometimes what happens. She's trying to do something different, requires a different manufacturing process. She likes to actually really work and create her own colors and everything. All that to say, she had a great brand launch there. Meghan Markle, I would argue, probably did the actual stupidest thing you could do in her scenario, which is launch it. A website with nothing on it except to grab emails, and an Instagram page that nobody is on, that just has tiles with the brand logo. And let me actually check here real quick, because it's been a little bit since I've checked. It's at 608,000 followers. So she's actually lost followers through this entire process, because She has nothing. She did, I would argue again, from the business perspective, the stupidest thing possible is launching with essentially nothing but a blank Instagram page and a blank website, collecting a bit of data from the website, and then not doing a thing with it for 8 months. I don't understand why she hasn't had a newsletter going for all these 8 months. Why? Why? Behind the scenes things. You can share some of your feelers, help people or whatever, or just kind of try to tell us what the brand is. One of my big criticisms, as you know, if you've watched a lot of my content on American Riviera Orchard, is I have no clue why she created this brand. What is the purpose of this brand? What is she hoping to achieve with this brand? Why do we as the consumers need to buy her product? Because one of the things is when you're, you could say, selling something, you need to tell people why they should buy it. I have a relationship with Ana Lucia Diamonds. And so if the camera focuses, there we go. So I love my Eternity band here with the diamonds, my tennis bracelet, my earrings and everything, my necklace. So I wear a lot of their stuff because I really love it. And so I can share about the quality with you because oh, when she sent me this, guys, I was just like, oh, that is the best thing. Like I've never really had anything quite like this that sparkles this much, and it makes me so happy. And I share that with you guys because I love it. And I personally, as I watch through, especially videos with tiaras and stuff, and I'm like, oh, the glitter. There's something about the glitter. And like when you see something glitter on you, it's like, ooh, you just get super excited. And it's great to have something at a great price point. And so I share that. They're lab created diamonds. I know people have issues with that, but I think why not, right? But I have no clue about Meghan Markle's brand, like anything about it. At this point, the only thing I can think of is that when she finally launches it, you should buy her stuff simply because she's Meghan Markle. She has given us no other reason in the world to buy her products except for the fact that she's Meghan Markle, which to me comes across as a needless, pointless cash grab. She's just grabbing cash. Now, I actually did a video, which I ended up just posting to members because I finished it, but then like things came up. And so I shelved it. And I'm actually kind of glad I didn't release it to everyone because there were big snafus that happened later. And I was like, ooh, that wasn't a great example. But I was thinking of Blake Lively's Blake Brown hair care line. Because when I first heard about it, I thought it was great because she was launching it in line and coordination with her movie. So she was able to promote her movie, her hair care line, and all these sorts of things. Didn't know anything about the movie, which apparently is about DV. And so trigger warning for that film. She wasn't really actually marketing the film correctly. And then she was using the film to promote her hair care line. So that actually ended up being sort of a real disastrous mistake. I didn't really particularly like her product presentation. So this is Jo Malone, and I love how Jo Malone looks. I think it has a gorgeous presentation personally. I think it's very classy and elegant. And so this is actually Orange Blossom, which is apparently one of Catherine, the Princess of Wales's favorite scents. So if you're looking, I don't know why I'm going all over the place today. If you're looking at it for a great scent for Christmas, this is definitely an option for you. And so I was like, I liked how she coordinated it, but because of how she handled some things and how obviously she was portraying the movie as more of a rom-com than it actually was, and that sort of blew up in her face. So that sort of derailed, but the actual principle of launching a brand in line with the movie so you can kind of promote this both at the same time is actually a good business strategy. And she said, well, I wanted people to have this insight. I did watch a video where somebody kind of destroyed like she's not really offering anything new. Nothing's good about this product, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay, so maybe the product wasn't as good, but she actually gave a reason why she did it. Now, granted, she could have been lying about it, but she actually shared why she did this and how she worked for it for a while and the meaning behind the brand name. And so because of all these things together, it's like you have a reason, a design and everything behind the brand. But we don't have anything like that with American Riviera Orchard. I have no clue why it exists. I don't know nothing about why Meghan thought it was so important to share it. Like we know none of these things. And this is incredibly important because what I found really interesting is I was watching this video, and I'll try to share a bit of this here, that there is a sort of downward trend when it comes to celebrity lifestyle brands. So let's take a listen to a little bit of this.
I mean, a lot of the times the celebrity just does not have much expertise in business. And most notably, as it relates to Blake Lively, consumers can really sniff out inauthenticity. I mean, we can smell a cash grab when we see one.
I think that's key. Sniff out inauthenticity. Meghan Markle is not authentic. She doesn't really have an authentic bone in her body. And when it comes to whatever American Riviera Orchard is going to become at some point, I really don't believe anything she's probably going to say about it because I truly believe she doesn't care. I don't think she has a lot of actual passions, really, except for I want to make money. I want to wear designer clothes. I want to have a really expensive jewelry collection that kind of tends on the trinket side so I can be flashy. And that seems to be her sole motivation in life. I mean, bravo. But she always, I feel like it's like, tries to mask things in this altruistic veil, and she's not really altruistic. And so because of that, everything screams as I just want money. And I feel like that is truly what she wants here. She wants money.
I mean, it's at the point where it's almost weird if you're a celebrity and you don't have a brand. But I just really don't think that celebrity brands are doing anything different.
So I think this is key here. Meghan Markle is not an original thinker. She is not. She regurgitates things that are sometimes decades old because she doesn't really have an independent mind in some ways. She's sort of hive minded and she thinks she's this great intellect, that she's doing all these great philanthropic things and she has these great ideas when really she's just stealing from other people. She doesn't have an original idea. One of the things I think is really interesting when it comes to Meghan, and you notice this as you go through school and stuff like that, there are some people who are actually really good at passing tests and go through school and get pretty high grades. But when push comes to shove, when it actually requires you to use your brain in a different way, most of the time they fail out at some point because they never really had it. They're good at taking a test. Yes, they're good at buttering up the teacher. But when it comes to actually thinking independently, they can't do it. And I think that's something so critical to remember is that you have to be able to think differently. Great entrepreneurs, people who end up becoming very, very successful, oftentimes are those who think outside the box. Not always, but sometimes. Meghan Markle is following a trend that's been around now for kind of decades. And so, because of that, she has an issue here is that she's way behind the curve. And because she's way behind the curve, can she offer anything new or interesting? And this is how we get to the latest trademark hell for Meghan Markle, which is that it seems increasingly likely that she will probably have to change the name. That is because somebody else already owns the trademark for Royal Riviera. Now, I know you might be saying, hey, now, American Riviera Orchard is different, right? I mean, it is, but it's not. You have to think a company trademarks a brand name to keep it protected. So if Meghan Markle hasn't done her due diligence research, this other company over here, which is not a small fry by any means, is like, hey, we have this already trademarked. And because of that, you inserting yourself in here and not doing your due diligence research is going to be a big problem. And this is Harry and David, an American institution founded in 1934 with an annual sales of 1.7 billion and 3,300 staff. And so the protests that they have lodged against American Riviera Orchard, deemed irrelevant because of the likelihood of confusion, has been referred to Markle Wright, the trademark office's examining attorney. So it's the latest bad luck for Meghan. So it apparently is over something called Royal Riviera pears. So you actually see the trademark logo right here. And no jokes about going pear-shaped because you got to think too, Meghan Markle named her brand American Riviera Orchard. Now they named theirs Royal Riviera, but you have the same thing as Riviera, and then you have pears which are grown in orchards. So you do have some confusion going forward. And this is not a small company. I'm sure they did this with obviously being well aware of the potential fallout here and going, we could just ignore this, but we have a company and a brand name and a reputation to protect, and we don't really want to be associated with Meghan Markle. I would argue American Riviera, or I would argue that American Riviera Bank, I'm surprised they're not filing a trademark infringement, to be quite honest, because I am almost 100% convinced because, again, Meghan Markle is not an original thinker. I would not be surprised if how she named her brand was based around seeing American Riviera Bank. Now, to be fair, I named my channel, Royal News Network. The reason is that I was inspired by cable news network, which is CNN. And obviously that is, you could say, a bit of copying, but at the same time too, what I was really going for is something that I thought was catchy, something that could work long term. When I look at American Riviera Orchard, I don't see a brand in success. I see a brand that is flailing, that is flatlining, that doesn't really have a good future, a good defined way forwards, because I don't think Meghan Markle is a competent businesswoman. And that is on display for the entire world to see. Everyone in the world can see what a failure it is. It's undeniable how badly it's being run, how much of a failure it is so far. And that's all at the feet of Meghan Markle. She is the one who made the stupidest decision possible when she had other options on the table, other much better options, because now she has launched a brand. She has the Instagram handle and she's told you what it is. And she may have to change it, which is insane to me. Now, the other insanity here, and I've mentioned this, I think, on videos before, but it's worth it going over again, is that when it comes to American Riviera, when it comes to American Riviera Orchard, actually, I will leave in my mistakes here because it's hard to say. Royal News Network is really easy to say. American Riviera Orchard, you have to think about it because it doesn't flow well. So let's say I'm in charge of American Riviera Orchard. In this case, Megan is, and she wants to sell this bull. Meghan Markle has filmed a television show already, guys. And what if she has this bull on here? But when she files the patent to secure the design, well, this is already being sold at TJ Maxx for $12. And she has made the exact same thing. Because again, she's not an original thinker. She redesigned something somebody else had and barely changed it. So if she does that, she runs the risk of rejection by the trademark and patent office. And if that happens, and if she used products in her videos that she cannot sell because she had to change the logo. I mean, if she changed the logo, my gosh, that would really be awful because she might have products on the program with the logo. Well, then if that happens and she has to change a logo, she might have to go in and they might have to digitally blur out or change her logos on things because they can't use it. That's additional time and money that nobody wants to spend because the whole reason for the show, as far as we know, is to sell American Riviera Orchard. Why else would the show exist except to sell her products? And so if she can't sell her products because she was stupid in how she launched everything. She launched it too soon. I mean, I am flabbergasted that she even filmed it this early without securing all this stuff. But I think it reflects too that she knows the Netflix deal is over. And because the Netflix deal is over, she unfortunately can't really move forwards without maybe having to either refilm things or maybe scrap the original show entirely. And if that happens, I can't imagine that Netflix wouldn't be incensed. It's like, we wasted time and money on a show that we can't air because you were so stupid that you launched the brand without securing all the legal stuff ahead of time. And now we're screwed. We're all screwed. We're all out money that we can't recoup. And it's just, everybody would just look at her and go, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? And this would play out for the whole industry. I firmly believe that she filmed this show early because she knew the Netflix things was running out. And so she filmed it early, then she could secure that Netflix could pay for part of it. Of course, the change that we've had for Harry and Meghan and Netflix is now that they're going to have to share whatever profits and production costs that they put into it with the companies that they're working with. Because this time Netflix was like, oh, no, 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 no. You don't get to produce these all by yourself. You need production partners because you both suck at this. So in order to secure the best product possible, we need to be able to actually secure and manage who's behind the scenes. And I think Netflix has 100% done that. I think Netflix has 150% done that. And because of that, Harry and Meghan again are just looking utterly and completely foolish. They look foolish. They look inept. They look so many different things. And this is not going to be the great success Meghan Markle wants it to be. It's just not. I just don't see how it could be. Meghan Markle has one shot at American Riviera Orchard working. And that is if she has the best product possible. She must have something so gangbuster. It can't be a flippin' bowl. We can all go anywhere and get a flippin' bowl for 50 cents at a flea market or a garage sale to probably thousands of dollars at Tiffany & Co. It cannot be a flipping bowl. She has to create something unique, interesting, game-changing, I think. Best product possible. You put it on and it's the best thing in the world. If she doesn't have that, whatever future her and Harry put on American Riviera Orchard is done. Her investments mean diddly squat. I need to still, and I promise to do a video on how her investments are bad. I think their property portfolio idea looks really weak at this point. Buying a $5 million property in Portugal that you can rent out as an Airbnb. Now, granted, there will be people who use that 100%, but it also seems like that's a really expensive house. I think you make probably more better money on smaller things. And what if the entire neighborhood is an Airbnb and you're competing with everybody else in the neighborhood? It just is like, that's just a bad idea. But they are full of bad ideas, Harry and Meghan. So we are going to explore that in a different video. We also have a series going on with Meghan's blunders. So I will continue with that. And maybe if there were some I missed in the initial video, I need to go back through, guys. There are more I need to add just for, I should do like a wrap up video at the end. The mistakes I missed, because there are some mistakes I definitely missed. So, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button below, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye.